Hey everyone, this is JT with the solution to my blinking star video puzzle. I tried something new with this puzzle by making it a video. I really liked it, so I made a few more and posted those. I will be posting more of these as well as more picture puzzles. This is the solution to this puzzle, so if you are still working on it or otherwise do not want to know the solution, I'd advise to stop watching now. Alright, let's get into the solution. So this was my first video puzzle that I made. Therefore, I tried to make it relatively easy, on the easier side. The difficulty of this one is about a 2 out of 10. Alright, let's just play through it a little bit. Alright, so it starts with this star. There are, I guess, 4 colors going on. There's the red, the orange, the yellow, and white squares. They fill up each of these regions. Now, if we count the number of regions in this star, there are 4 regions. Let's pause this. There are 4 regions in each point of the star. There's 4 points, so in total there's 16 different regions. If the next thing we can look at is the number of individual frames or different patterns in the star, and if you go through the entire video and count the number of different regions, you'll see that there are 64. So that suggests that the solution to this is a private key, which is 64 digits long. The private keys are also in hexadecimal, which is a 16-digit or base 16, and the star shape that has 16 different regions really is also evidence that the solution will be a private key. So the private key will use letters or numbers 0 through 9 and letters A through F for a total of 16 different characters used to represent base 16 numbers. And the order of the digits in this is just the beginning of the video to the end. I wanted to make it simple. I could have done something trickier, like maybe the first digit was the last frame and you had to go backwards, or maybe the pattern was a little bit more crazy than that. But for this one, it was relatively easy. I just went beginning to end. If that hadn't worked, maybe you'd have had to try something different, but in this one it did. So the puzzle starts out with everything white. Go forward just a bit. This very first frame, everything turns red except for these 3 regions. Let's continue on. Next one, pretty much everything's red again, orange. There's a few orange ones. Next frame, there's some yellow. And then it just continues in this interesting pattern. So someone was able to solve this a couple weeks ago, and the pattern was that basically everything other than the red regions are kind of meaningless. I added those in just as an artistic flair and to make it look better and to confuse people a little bit more, hopefully. But really the key was that this very first one only has red regions. The next one has some orange. The next one has orange and yellow. So it's almost as if the red regions sort of fade out by passing through orange and then yellow and then back to white. And that's probably most clear towards the end, where we have this pattern that is mostly red. We move to this one where there's a lot of orange, and then the next one has a lot of yellow, and the next one turns white. And the reason behind that is that I basically am fading out the red through multiple frames. So for example, this one here is mostly red. Next one, a lot of the red ones turn orange. Now, the new red ones come in, and the new red ones correspond to the next digit in the key. So really we're only looking at the red ones. In the next frame, I basically turn all the red ones orange, all the orange ones yellow, and all the yellow ones white. But since the new digit we'll have to add more red ones in, it just kind of goes over what's already there. So that's the pattern. It kind of looks cool how I put it together, or how it turned out. So I just went with it. So let's go back to the beginning. So this one has 13 red regions. This next one also has 13. So to figure out exactly which digit they correspond to, we need to think about how to get maybe an F and a 0. So if we go through this, we'll notice that there is one right here that is completely colored in red. And knowing that we are looking for a private key, it would be pretty logical to assume this equals an F because everything's filled in, and that's correct. That would be an F, and so this next one is actually a D or an E. Yeah, an E. So this one would be an E because it's missing one red piece. If we continue that pattern through each number, so 14 filled in would be a D, 13 filled in would be a C, we get this key here, where we have F equals 16 filled in, E is 15, D is 14, all the way down through 0, which is 1 filled in. And this was kind of annoying because ideally it would be a 0 would be 0 filled in, but it was either I made it that case where if there were 0 red regions, that corresponded to a 0, and then the F would correspond to 15 and it wouldn't be quite filled in all the way with red, or I did it this way where I wanted the possibility of everything being filled in with red, and it just makes it a little annoying where they're offset, the numbers are offset by 1, but that's how it turned out. So yeah, let's go back to the beginning of this and start getting the solution. So the first frame, everything's blank. First pattern, we have 13 filled in, so that would be a C. We go next, and so notice that anytime there's an orange color, the previous one had red in that exact same spot. So there's 3 orange ones, those don't matter. Again, in this one, there's also 13 filled in regions, which corresponds to another C. Moving forward, a lot of those red ones turned orange. One of the previous orange ones turned yellow. Again, those don't matter. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 filled in red regions. That corresponds to the number 7 in the private key. A little confusing, but if you did it one way and you checked it and then you realize, oh, maybe I should try it the other way just to see what happens, I don't think it would be too hard to shift everything up or down by 1 to try the other possibility. At least I hope not. All right, next one. Next one, there's 4 regions filled in, which corresponds to a 3. Next one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's another 7. I won't go through this entire thing, but here's the complete solution here. As you see, CC737 are the first 5, which are right there. This whole thing right here is the final solution, the 64-digit private key. Now, if you took that, put it in on myetherwallet.com, you would have accessed the wallet and earned the 10 bomb tokens that were in this puzzle. So very good job to whoever was able to solve this first and get it.